You may know him from radio or follow him on social media. His name is Marconi, and this is the Bologna Podcast.
Oh man, just what you needed in your life, another podcast. But yes, I am Marconi. Thank you for joining me. This is the Bologna Podcast, where all the stuff that doesn't fit on my 20 other podcasts goes. What possibly else could I have to talk about? I don't really know what I'm doing here. No, I do have, a lot of stuff that I don't get to on my multitude of other podcasts. And I thought, well, maybe this would be a good one to just have for all that extra stuff. Just the stuff that gets trimmed out of the other podcasts. And this is, maybe more personal, or maybe my personal thoughts on things that I don't get to elsewhere. Because Lord knows I need to express myself more. So thank you for joining me. And if you're a longtime radio fan, welcome. If you follow me on social media, I'm glad to have you. I hope you enjoy it and get to know me better. And for that, I'm sorry.
Follow Marconi on Twitter at Marconi Bologna. Get lost in his K-hole.
Now, over the weekend, my cat Wilhelmina, 16-year-old cat, passed away, or I guess passed away. I had to have her put to sleep, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I've never had that happen in my life. I've only had, as an adult, only these two cats, Wilhelmina and Little Tiny, and Wilhelmina had been with me for my entire time on Portland radio, pretty much. I got her like in 1998, so she was 2 years old. And she's a little Siamese snowshoe mix, and I got her at the Raleigh Hills Veterinary Clinic, and she's been with me ever since. And it's the sweetest cat ever, and they become part of your lives, especially when you don't have children. They're a little bit more, it seems, important to you, and you kind of pay more attention to them, and and in return, the more attention you give to them, the more love and closeness they feel towards you. So having to put my cat to sleep, well, I would say cat, it seems a descriptive thing for the animal, but it was more, she was my little friend. Every day she was there and very vocal. I mean, if you've experienced any of the things I do on the internet or on the radio, you've heard her meow, and she's very vocal about a lot of things. It was just really hard because I've never even thought about my life without this cat, this animal. And putting her down was so difficult. And I'd never done that, like I said, so I didn't know what to do. So all I knew is that you go to the vet and see what they think first, knowing you're probably going to have to make a horrible decision. And that we did. And, many people say that it's the hardest decision, but it's the most loving decision. And it really is. But I still feel it's weird to have that kind of power, decision-making power, because when these animals are such a big part of your life, and to have the ability to end their suffering, it just seems like a lot of power to have. And I'm not comfortable with that, but I know it has to be done, and it was really hard. And I did write on my blog about it, and some of the things I wrote were the hardest part was my cat Little Tiny, her little sister. She was a baby when, just a month after I introduced the two of them together. I got Little Tiny because Wilhelmina needed a friend. And so I got this little baby, Little Tiny, and she has never known a day of her life without Wilhelmina being around. It's been, the weekend, and she still kind of is looking for Wilhelmina, wondering where she is. And I think on top of all the other things that make me sad about it, that makes me feel the worst, because could you imagine, like, not really understanding where your friend went? I mean, she's basically like a motherly, matronly sister. And it just seemed very sad to see my little cat looking for Wilhelmina and not really knowing why she wasn't there. So it was an emotional day, and I will say this, like, the best thing is when you have people in your life that support you and, they're there for you, with you. My girlfriend, Sierra, is the best. So I think having gone through this, if I had to do it myself alone, I would have been even a bigger mess. So, and you think, you're a tough guy, and you think, people can say it's just a cat, but when it comes to animals, I'm not a tough guy, and it's and I've always had kind of a sense of humor about being a single guy with 2 cats. I mean, it's not really something that is always a thing, like most guys, like, oh, I've got a giant dog, I'm a man. But I just learned over the years that I love animals. Some people say that you have to either be a cat or a dog person, and I can't decide. But now with my girlfriend, see, this is the other thing, is thank God for my girlfriend, because she moved here from Canada and has 2 animals, a cat and a dog. And luckily they're with us, because it would have been really even harder for me and little Tiny to come home to being just her and I. You know what I mean? Like, a cat, now she has 2 new friends, and it's a little bit more, the void that is filled sometimes with a new kitten can kind of be filled with having 2 new pets in our lives, Bijou and Nala. So that made it a lot easier. But I'll tell you this, the thing that'll always break my heart is that, when I was holding her, and it was her last moments as they were putting the injection into her catheter, knowing that she was going, and it was seconds before she would be gone, saying goodbye into her ear as she breathed her last breath, I think will probably break my heart forever, just thinking about that. So needless to say, it was an emotional start to my weekend, and it was not fun. But we went out and did some normal people stuff, if you could call going to a burlesque show normal. There's this place that does like a Halloween burlesque type show, and we went out, we got in the costume. Some of the pictures are on my blog at marconibologna.com. And it was good to take my mind off of it. Like when you have something traumatic happen in your life, sometimes it's good to just get out of the house. It's just a period of time that you have to go through when you have a pet that you've had for a long time that is no longer with you. It's just part of your life that's not there, and it's so weird. I keep looking underneath my desk where I do these podcasts and on my voiceover work, and she's always underneath my desk, and sometimes you can hear her meowing, and sometimes I had to edit her out because she got too loud because I wasn't giving her enough attention. So having done that for so long, and now she's not there, it's just so weird. So I keep looking under my desk, just thinking in my head like I normally would, just checking on her to say hi and give her a little pet before I do my next voiceover or whatever. So that is a big part of me that is missing, and my heart will be broken for a while, and it's a sad thing that we all have to go through if we have pets, and you don't want to be too much of a sap, but that's what's going on in my life, so I feel like I talk about it. And I did want to say thank you to everyone on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all the various social medias, for all your kind messages and words of condolence. It really does actually mean a lot. I wish I could respond to each one of them, but I was actually pretty overwhelmed with all the support and love that you guys had. So thank you so much for that. All I can say is it's very tempting to go adopt another animal right now, but usually 3 pets are more than enough. But really, when it comes to animals, sometimes the heart just wants what it wants. Maybe I'll have 16 cats and I'll be that old cat lady. A girl can dream, can't she?
Follow the Bologna blog on Tumblr at marconibologna.com. Enjoy the magic.
Well, I realize today's podcast is a little bit somber, but I do have other podcasts, and I promise you I'm not always down. But I do have other podcasts, and one of them is the Me Plus Cake podcast with my girlfriend, and you should check it out. Sierra and I do a weekly podcast. It's a rundown of our lives, and we are looking for scary stories. If you have any, please send them. But if you haven't heard the Me Plus Cake podcast, here's a little example of what you may have missed.
The Me Plus Cake podcast.
How do you go from internet
dating to moving in together. How's that even a thing?
You just do it. I just feel like our whole relationship is just, you know what? Just F it and do it.
Definitely what she said. I also hate when packaging changes and they say, new look, same great taste. Like when...
Why would the packaging change the taste?
If nobody gives a crap about your dumb packaging, why don't you just invest all the energy that you're putting into designing a new package? Maybe add a little bit something better to the taste.
Yeah, just a little dash of gluten.
Yeah, man. A little glob of gluten. It has to be a glob, right?
A glob of gluten?
A gluten glob. A gluten glob in every bite.
I DM'd you first, and I said, you're a babe. Do you remember that?
But do you do that to a lot of guys before me?
No, I've never dated online. I've never had any internet dating experience. I've never... I don't know. There was something about you, and I was like, I need to tell him that I think he's attractive. And now look where we are.
And you're sorry for it every single day.
Oh, whatever.
They share their lives on YouTube, and now even more. It's Marconi and Sierra.
The Me Plus Cake Podcast.
So yeah, check out the Me Plus Cake Podcast. They're all, you can link them on MarconiBologna.com. There's a link there to Me Plus Cake, all of my other podcasts and everything on the sidebar. So check it out on MarconiBologna.com. This is the Bologna Podcast. I hope that you enjoyed listening, and we'll tune in again when I do another one, which is probably going to be pretty weekly, and maybe more. So sometimes I'll do even more of these. But you can ask questions about anything here on the podcast, about me or life in general. I always like to hear from you. I have this thing called SpeakPipe. Have you ever heard of that? SpeakPipe.com/MarconiBologna. There's a link there in the description on my blog at MarconiBologna.com. You can simply leave me a message, a voice message from your phone or your computer. Or you can leave a voicemail message on our phone line, 323-393-3737. Thank you for listening. We'll be back again soon, right here on the Bologna Podcast.
The Bologna Podcast.